you again, brothers and sisters, for joining us with the Lazarus stories, Leavell Lazarus stories. What this is again is to help people, by way of other people's testimonies, by being, by them being transparent and just kind of giving some of the tips, whether it be scripture, whether it be what exactly happened when they were on their journey, when they were in the woods, whatever situation they had occurring in their life, in an effort to strengthen them and let them know that they're not the only ones going through it, and that there is a way out. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. And who I have with me today is Rasheda. How are you doing today?
Hi.
All right. So tell me a little bit about your story. What exactly is that situation that actually turned you around? Actually gave you a wake-up call? Was your aha moment?
I think it was having cancer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now in remission.
Mm-hmm. Thank God for that.
Excuse me. A very rare kind of cancer. It's called dermatofibroma sarcoma protuberans.
Okay.
Long name.
Yeah.
It is a sarcoma. It's a form of skin cancer.
Okay.
It grows deep in the tissues of the skin, and it grows tentacles. That's what the protuberans portion is called. It's tentacles that kind of like grow deep into the skin. I can compare it to a tree, like roots in a tree.
Right. Gotcha.
So that's what happened to me. I think that that's what changed my life, literally.
It just goes to show that a lot of times God is, everybody thinks that a lot of these situations are, of the devil. The devil did it. We like to blame the devil. We like to say that he did this. But a lot of times with our trials and tribulations, as I know personally, these are situations to come to help us stronger. It's to make us, it's to crush us down and build us back up. So it's, again, these are, with your testimony, I believe, it's a situation where God is going to get the glory. Has gotten the glory.
He has. You know what I say, Dana? God may not ordain some things, but he will allow it. And he will always allow it for him to get the glory. And I felt like that was such a big storm for me. But I look at storms and say, okay, when it rains, something's getting cleansed. And I looked at that every step of the way. Like, it was painful. It was horrible. But I just thank God for his grace every step of the way. So I had one surgery. I'll tell you how it started. Let me back up a little bit. I was feeling something in my arm. And have you ever heard of carpal tunnel? I thought it was carpal tunnel. I went to work like I'm not using the mouse.
Yeah,
I'm not. I even thought I had it from being on my phone too much. Like something.
We gotta take down. We'll get off Facebook. We gonna get off it. Yeah, we just none of that.
I said I wasn't working. I wasn't on the phone or nothing. I was even using my left hand.
Right.
Thinking, okay, I'm gonna give.
It's the right arm, right?
Right. And I'll show you guys. But I said, okay, I'm gonna just stop because I'm getting carpal tunnel and this is not hot. I can't have carpal tunnel.
Right.
And it was just started off as a pain in my wrist. The next thing you know, I had pain in my neck, the whole arm. And a week later, my whole arm went numb. So I went to the hospital thinking, literally, my arm was hanging there.
Wow.
I was freaking out thinking my arm had fell off on the pillow. I don't know how I can even wrap my mind around it, but I thought my arm fell off.
Understood.
So I went to the hospital, and they said it was a blockage, and I had a stroke. And I'm like, are you serious? I'm in my 30s. I've never smoked. I've never drank. It's not carpal tunnel, and it's not a stroke. I don't know what it is, but my arm is numb. They did an MRI, and they seen it was a blockage there. They seen it was a growth, so they cut it out. And then about a week later, the results came back that it was a mass that they cut out, and it was cancer. So I had to have 2 more surgeries since then. And that was from start to end, everything that I went through. They cut it out the next time, and then I was on a wound vac to make sure that they got it all this time. And here I am today in remission.
What a blessing. And I can attest to that. Again, my mother, I was telling you before that my mother actually, she had breast cancer, and she was a 21-year survivor. Before she eventually passed, she was a 21-year survivor. And I saw how, again, like you said earlier, I really want to touch back on that, how you said God will allow things, kind of like with Job. He'll allow things to see, how long you'll hang in there. He'll see what it, again, break you down to bring you back up and just kind of filter some things out. And my question to you now is, what did you get from it as far as spiritually? How did this bring you, I definitely know it's a tough road as far as physically, but what spiritually came of it with you? Like, how did you get closer?
I'm not gonna cry, Dana. This is my good. Do you see these lashes emotions that I'm giving you right here. I'm not gonna cry.
You guys gonna have to put it on my tab. I see.
I got so much gratitude, and I think like, how did so much pain give me so much privilege and gratitude to God? And I can't even explain it. But I think it was humility. I am not the one to tell my business at all.
Right.
So it took a lot for me to let the world see this is what I'm going through.
Right.
I think I took out of it humility and gratitude. Even things that I took for granted, doing my daughter's hair in the morning. You never know what it's like to do it until you have one on.
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
So many things that I took for granted. It was by His grace. Every day I wake up and I thank God just for life.
Right.
It may not be the life that I want. I don't have a Bentley. I don't have a mansion. I don't have all of the things that I want, but I have life. And I'm so grateful. I am so grateful for that.
That's another thing. Like a lot of us get into, the things that don't make us spiritually at peace. Things that don't really change us. A lot of times we do hang on to certain things, and God needs to get our attention. And again, He'll break us away from certain situations. And unfortunately, I feel like sometimes, it's physical. Sometimes it comes by way of sickness. But at the end of the day, looking back on it, when you were in the woods, when you felt like there was no way out, you have the children, you have Brianna, you have Messiah. Thinking about that, I believe that even with that, even bringing you to a point, it's one thing for us to go through something by ourselves. Now I will say this: me having 2 children myself, going through something by yourself is like, okay, if I go, I go, and I can be a little bit at peace with that. But then when you think about your children, you know what I mean? When I think about my children, it's like, for me to even feel like I'm slipping away and that they'll be here still and I'll be not here, I think God allows, these things to come to make us stronger, to give us a new perspective. Because most of all, mostly in life, a lot of things are about perspective. Not saying that you're materialistic, but I'm more so saying that just those simple things, not to say that you even, weren't aware of those things, but God will allow you to just, be closer to Him based upon just the use and activities of your limbs.
Yes.
Looking out and seeing both your hands working, being able to go and play with your children at a certain place, being able to, it just tightens things up for you, puts a new perspective. And I want to touch on another thing, dealing with the fact that me and you got this in common. We're like, we are both like, we're not procrastinators. If it needs to be done, let's go ahead and do it.
Come on.
Let's do it. Let's go ahead and get it done. So again, I wanted to talk to you about, you saying that, you spent so much time working. You spent so much time making sure that they had, a great life. And I definitely see that. I'm going to tell you right here on camera that I definitely see you, as a great mother. And I definitely, no question about it. With that being said, I know that you disclosed to me that God, was kind of trying to get your attention, that you're not in control. Allow me to fight these battles. Allow me to kind of work on these situations. Allow me to be, be in control. And sometimes it takes for a situation where we're not so much in control, when we're laying up in bed and we got a fever, whatever the case may be, for us to get that. So ultimately, what would you tell to someone out there that may have cancer, may know somebody with it, maybe going through something that's trying to get their attention? What steps, what tips, what would you tell them to help them to hang on and tell them, what would you tell them, as far as it being for their greater making?
Okay, so I guess I wouldn't even want to necessarily talk specifically to the person with cancer. I want to talk to someone who hasn't even gotten that deep in the trenches of life. Because when you're in that point, you have no other choice but to call on God. To just say, Jesus, help me right here, right now. I want to talk to someone who is maybe having problems with making 1 and 1 equal 2.
Right.
Who is having trouble with their kids, trouble with relationships, trouble with jobs.
Right.
Because that, to me, are prerequisites before you get to that big point. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Absolutely.
So I guess in that case, I would say, for me, I never, ever want to be in the driver's seat again. I want to be riding shotgun to my father.
That's it. That's it right there.
There's nothing that he puts on your plate that you cannot handle. He made you. He manufactured us. And he knows the limit that one person can take and break them, and another person can take and make them. You know what I mean? So, in my opinion, and I said this to someone, God knew what to put on my plate. He knew what he was dealing with me. I was not gonna take it laying down.
You're tough, man. You're kicking and screaming. That's
yeah, that's what I'm saying. And the first surgery, I came out ready to give me more. The second one, I'm like, okay, I'm down a little bit. The third one, I mean, I felt like I was then a master of being knocked out. When I never felt that way in life before. Never been forced to sit down. So I hope that it doesn't take a person to be hard-headed and get cancer and go through, multiple surgeries when you are right there in the trenches of everyday life. My only advice would be, I never want to be in a pilot seat again. I never want to make the decisions. I never want to make a decision in my life without first consulting my manufacturer and saying, how am I to handle this, God? I have something on my plate and it feels too heavy for me.
God is in control. I really bless
I'm
God.
so mad at you for making me cry.
No, please let it out. I'm just really, I'm glad. I want to honestly let you know that I'm glad that, this is not for nothing that you did wake up. I always want to tell somebody, I want to say, make sure that you get what it is that God has for you while you're in your situation. Get what it is that he's trying to get you before you come out the other end. If I'm going through something, I say, God, I'm here. I'm listening. You got my attention. And I want to get whatever it is that you have for me in this trial, in this tribulation. I want to make sure that I have whatever it is. I want to make sure that I want to get everything that it is, whatever tool, whatever tip, whatever piece of information that you want me to have in an effort to not have to go through this again. So I bless God that he was able to give you a revelation and reveal to you, by way of the situation that you've gone through. And I'm glad that I feel like this makes you 10 times more stronger. And he definitely didn't put more on you than you can bear. Let me give you a hug.
After you done made me smudge my darn makeup, I really thought I was doing something.
I guess I gotta pay you back. I gotta give you some. I gotta pay for that mascara.
No, I'm telling you though, Dana. And I want all your Lazarus listeners to know. In my opinion, I feel like I only now want to utilize whoever else's story. If someone says, Rasheda, don't go left, it's traffic left, it is whatever, a closed door left, I've been down that road, don't go that way. I will know, okay, this is a wise person. I see their battle scars. I see, their car looks like it's been through mud. I'm not going to go left. Trust me when I say I would work 10 jobs. I would feel like, God, I can do it. I love you, but I can't wait on you. Your way is to be, you want me to be patient. You want me to be submissive, and I have a problem with submissive because I want to be the boss and I want to be in control. And now I don't even want to think on my own without consulting the master. Absolutely.
That's right. Surrender all.
And it's a humbling feeling. I wake up every day, whether it's snow on the ground, whether it's sleet, whether it's hail, whatever it is, sunshine, it don't have to be no kind of weather for me to wake up and just thank God for the life that he's given me.
Absolutely. I mean, I referenced the situation with me. My mother passed. When my mother passed away, it was a situation. I would jump in my IROC Z28 Camaro, and I would run around different neighborhoods. And I would get home, and I did this for a year straight. I would say, again, like I told you, I roughly probably got 365 hours of sleep in a 365-day period. I would come home, take a shower, put my work clothes on at 4 o'clock in the morning, sleep for an hour, get up, brush my teeth, and walk out the door and do it all over again. God had to strip me down. He had to stop me. He had to pump the brakes. Some situations occurred where he had to say, I need you to sit still. I need you to sit still for a moment so you can hear my voice. I need to strip you down so that I can get your attention in an effort to really understand, to get you to understand what it is that I have for you. You know, a lot of times, again, with us being in the driver's seat, we'll get this, we'll do this, we'll have our plan. You know, and I also reference, you know, I know with your mother's situation, you know, I did a little, you know, backstudy on that. God bless her, rest in peace to her. That we attempt to learn from our old situations. We attempt to learn from our parents and say, okay, well, this is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to be done. By way of what once occurred, we're going to do this thing differently. And it's all out of love. But we got to let God get, you know, to take the reins. We got to let God be in control. We have to say, God, okay, I'm here. I surrender all. Let me strip down. Let me allow you to be in the driver's seat. And I just bless God that he was able to get your attention and that you're still here. I really mean that.
Thank you.
What I want you to do, if you don't mind, I know you don't, do you mind showing, you know, the story?
No, I'm gonna. And you guys, let me just say, I am still struggling with, like, this. But you can see this is what's, like, left now. Do you see that? Can you see it? And do you see when I move my arm a certain way, you can see like a hole. You can feel it. This is skin right here. Touch that right there. That is skin from my stomach. They cut my stomach and put skin here. So I still think it looks bad. I think it looks...
It's a testimony. It's a testimony.
It is.
You know, by his stripes we're healed. And I'm just thankful that, you know, God brought you through. Like I told you, I get a paper cut and I might start crying. And I just really see your strength, and I just want to let you know that this right here, this situation right here, you've done a lot of things. You've been a great mom. You've worked several jobs. This right here, looking at my mom and what she went through physically, you know what I'm saying, as far as cancer in itself, and coming out of that, I know that that your children will definitely see your strength through this testimony, and that's a legacy right there. That's a legacy. That's a legacy right there.
I don't want them. I used to think, I don't want them to see my strength. I want them to see my humility. There is power in meekness.
In humility. That's right. That's right.
And meekness. Like my stepdad always says, the meek shall inherit the earth.
There it is.
I want them to see the humility. I want them to see me to know that I was not ashamed to hold my head down. I was not ashamed to go before God and put my troubles to him, because honestly, although I think I can carry a lot on my back, it was not, I did not carry that. I did not carry it. I put it before him and he carried it for me.
That's it. Give it over to God. And you touched, oh my God. Like a lot of us, this is the main purpose of this. A lot of us are in a position where if we're going through things, whether it be financial, whether it be, again, like I've stated before, homelessness, not having finances to, or we cover it up. We cover it up. We don't want to, we don't want to speak on it. And I really want to say that I respect your strength and humility, most of all, because I can attest to that as well. As far as, you're going through something, there's so much pressure out just in the natural world to kind of keep those things on the hush and present that everything is good. But I really bless God, and I appreciate the fact that you went ahead and said, this is my testimony. This is what happened. And this is what I was dealing with, not just the physical. This is what I was dealing with in the spirit, as far as my humility, as far as me being in control. It's showing that it was for the greater good. It was for God to get your attention, to do something more wonderful and miraculous, and for you to be a testimony physically. And I really bless God for that.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for your Lazarus story.
Thank
Give me another hug. I'm sorry about the mascara. Love you too.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
That's okay.
All right. See, good cranberry juice right here.
Thank you. Look, we drinking out the
Look,
wine glasses.
This is serious right here. All right, everybody be blessed.